Welcome to another episode on the Author Influence Podcast. I'm your host, Desiree Lee. On this channel, I'm here to keep you inspired and help you grow as an author with better content marketing and online video to expand your reach on social media. Thank you so much for supporting my channel so that I can continue to provide you with free content each and every week. Believe it or not, there are a lot of aspiring authors and also self-published authors that don't know where to start or what to do next. And this is one of the questions that I receive most often. And a lot of authors ask me, what do I do to get paid to speak? Or how do I get paid to speak? Or this person or this company, this event has asked me to speak, but they don't have any funds available. They don't have any money available to pay me to come and speak. And I want to be a speaker. A lot of authors get into this business of sharing their experience, if it's instructional material or they're sharing their story to inspire someone or to prevent someone from going in. And a lot of companies or organizations, especially if you are an author influencer, especially if you worked hard to build your brand, there are people out there that are looking for you to come speak on their stage. And it's like, okay, well, how do I get paid? In this episode, I'm going to share with you guys from my own personal experiences how I got paid as a best-selling author on stages. So let me go back a little bit before I tell you some of the tips. Okay, so to give you guys some context of how I'm thinking this way and where it's all coming from and different things like that. And so with that being said, I remember I was a speaker before I was an author. And it wasn't until I became an author that I started to make more money. As a speaker, I came across the same thing as a lot of aspiring authors or even self-published authors come across. They have a low budget, or they can't pay you, or they're a nonprofit, and the list goes on different things that they can't provide you with an honorarium or your speaker fee and different things like that. And so when I became an author, I got paid more is because I became more creative. I had a book, which was a product. And I knew from my experience as being a speaker that I saw individuals who had vending tables and they sold from the stage and different things like that. And so I was very attentive and really paid a lot of attention to what did these individuals do to make more money. So even though an organization may not have the funds to pay you, I did not want to turn them down because after all, for my book, The Desiree Lee Story, my goal was, and still is to this day, to prevent teens from incarceration. My goal still is to reach as many people as possible with my story to let them know that it's not the end of the world. Just because you're in this dark place, you don't have to stop right there, that you can use your experience to help more people. And so from that, I'm like, well, I know this organization can't pay me, but I still need to pay my bills. I still need to pay my cell phone bill. I need to pay my rent. I need to get gas in the car. I need to pay my car note to get to the place and different things like that. And so, of course, it's a little bit different being that in this era of the coronavirus and COVID-19, that is less physical contact when it comes to in-person speaking engagements. So with that being said, here's your first tip. I hope you guys got your notebooks, seriously. And I hope you guys are taking notes or even leaving your notes inside of the comments so that another viewer or another person who is listening to this podcast can definitely take advantage of these tips and utilize them in their next experience or next speaking engagement inquiry. So when an organization comes to me and says, hey, we can't pay you, but we would love for you to speak. Well, the first thing I do is I ask them how many individuals are in the audience. When you're an author influencer, you have to be mindful that your goal is to get in front of as many people as possible. So if it's an organization that has less than 50 to 100 young people in the audience, I do not take on the opportunity. Lesson one, you don't have to say yes to every opportunity. You don't have to spread yourself so thin to every single opportunity. When I had this mindset after I asked him how many people are in the audience, I always had this mindset of, if there's 100 kids or 100 adults or 100 people in this audience, they can help me spread the word of my story depending on how I share it and how I do my presentation and so forth. When I look at the number of people in the audience, I put a number to it. So even though they say, hey, we don't have a $5,000 budget, we don't have $1,000 budget. So if it's 100 people, I say, okay, well, $5 per person. I look at it as like a concert or an event where they charge tickets, especially if that organization is charging tickets. I'm definitely charging to speak. So when I look at it as $5 per kid or $5 per audience member, that's how I come with my honorarium or my budget. Also, if they say, hey, look, we can't even give you $5 per kid, then what I do is I sell my books. I say, hey, instead of giving me an honorarium, once you purchase copies of my book, so that each person that's in the audience, being that it is an organization that's a nonprofit or organization that doesn't have the extra funds to pay you to speak, we're going to buy your copies of your book to give. So it's an even exchange. So now you as an author don't have to try to sell yourself from the stage. Now you as an author don't have to worry about trying to get people, if it's a virtual event, get people to a website to purchase your book, and you're crossing your fingers hoping that people will buy. Now you as an author don't have to have a vendor table if it's an in-person event, because you know as you're speaking on the stage, everybody is going to get a copy of the book when the organization pays for it. And so I call this the Oprah marketing strategy. You guys remember when Oprah had her TV show, she used to say, you know, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. So when the organization, if it be a school, a church, or even a company that asks you to come and speak for free, and they purchase 100 copies of your book to give to the audience members, you're able to say thank you to our sponsors, or thank you to the event host, or thank you to the event organizer or this organization, to be able to gift every one of them a copy of your book. So then now I'm standing on the stage and say, you get a book and you get a book and you get a book. And so now the audience members don't have to worry if they have money to be able to support you financially by purchasing a copy of your book. But at the same time, I sold literally 100 copies of my book. Some people are saying, well, how do you sell all these books? Well, I do free speaking engagements here and there. And so another tip is, does all of your speaking engagements, are all of them free? No, they're not. I took this tip from my father. He says, hey, look, you can't just turn your back because they don't have the money to not share your story or speak, because this is what your purpose entails. And so my dad told me, hey, look, have 5 speaking engagements every year, have 10 free speaking engagements every year, 20 free speaking engagements every year. So when an organization comes to me and says, hey, look, we don't have the funds to pay you, I can say, hey, look, you're my number 7 or the organization that I spoke to for free. And so then that way you can still be paid as a speaker because you already, so if you already met your quota, let's say it's 5 free speaking engagements by April, then you can say, hey, look, I already met my quota. You're going to have to pay an honorarium for me to come. And so that's a way that you look at it as an author influencer, or as a business acumen, or having business acumen when it comes to you as a speaker, so you don't feel like you're spreading yourself thin and you don't come across the burnout. Oh my gosh, you don't want to come across the burnout, seriously. So the second tip is to make sure that you only have a number of free speaking engagements that you do every year. And each year you can either increase them or you can decrease them each and every year, depending on what your business model is as an author influencer. The last tip that I want to share with you guys is also merchandise. Merchandise is a huge thing to increase your revenue, especially on speaking engagements, or if an organization says, hey, we don't have the money to pay you. This is what this podcast is for. It's to tell you, hey, look, where do I start and what do I do next? So I'm telling you guys where to start in regards of, hey, look, they don't have the funds. First, where to start on first, how do I, put my speaker fee? What should I put my price as a speaker fee? Look at the number of audience and put a price to that. If it's $10 per people, they have per person, and they have 50 people, then hey, look, that's what's going to be your speaker fee. If it's $500. If it's 100 people, you put $10 per person. Then you say, hey, look, it's going to cost me $1,000. If they do not have that $1,000 or $500, you can say, hey, look, it's going to be 50 people here. I will only come if you buy a book for each person. How many people are going to come? 50. Then you need to buy 50 copies of my book. How many people are going to come? 100. Okay, then you need to purchase 100 copies of my book. Which then it tells, hey, look, you got 50 people to share this book. You got 50 extra book reviews. You got 100 potential book reviews too as well. So it's a win-win situation for the organization that doesn't have the funds to pay you as a speaker. And it's a win-win situation for you as an author influencer. The next thing, the third thing is merchandise. You want to start thinking about merchandise, not just t-shirts, ladies and gentlemen, but you could also have coffee mugs, and not just coffee mugs. But if you're talking to students or maybe you're going into a school, think about making personalized book bags, because this child is wearing this book bag. Maybe their parents don't have money for a book bag, so they take this free book bag and they take it to school, or they take it to where they're going, or maybe they're traveling to as well. Maybe that's their carry-on or whatever the case may be. And they are literally walking billboards. Okay. When you're thinking about different types of merchandise. Another thing that you can think about is in regards to merchandise is something that they can utilize, but also share with other people. Merchandise can be as small as a sticker, where you can say, hey, look, these are dollar stickers, and a percentage of this merchandise that I sell goes towards a nonprofit or organization, or for you to help more people. So if I'm speaking at a free event, all right, saying that it's a free event, they don't have money to pay me. Now they're purchasing copies of my book, and now I have a table or I have an outlet, and I can literally add my philanthropy to it by literally letting them know, hey, look, if you buy a sticker, $1 off of each purchase, or 10% or 25% of each purchase goes towards ABC. So I'm able to do more speaking engagements. I promise you, people will definitely support you, because that will be their contribution to making it a better world. As always, I hope this was beneficial for you. I hope you guys took a lot of notes. I can go on forever about business of being a self-published author, and about the things that I just feel like that are not talked about, that much. But I enjoy creating videos and podcasts just like this that you typically would not see, or even, get a chance to hear or get, inquisitive or new ideas coming from this. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel. Make sure you guys turn that notification bell on so that you don't miss any videos. And if there's anything else that you want to learn about being an author influencer, or in terms of being a self-published author in business, or if you just need a little bit of inspiration, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to create another video or another podcast just for you guys. As always, do the best you can with what you have until you can do better. I believe in you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.